Hello everyone and welcome back to another Guild Wars Beginner's Guide. Today we're going to talk about combat. How does combat work in Guild Wars 2? And basically, how do you do it? And next month, End of Dragons, the next expansion of Guild Wars 2 is releasing, and that's why I'm doing a lot of videos about like Beginner's Guide to learn all the new people on how to actually play Guild Wars 2. Because End of Dragon is probably going to give it a lot of attention and probably going to give like in a lot of new players to the game. So welcome to this beginner guide, and today we're going to talk about combat. First of all, we have to cover the skills we have in the bottom, because that's probably like the most important thing. Like, I mean, you basically move with WASD, like move around. You can hold down right click and move around, or you can even enable action camera, which basically means the game becomes like an action game. So you can see like I got like a point in the middle of the screen, so every time I attack with my mouse, it's actually attacking that way. But that's just like an option you can enable. But back to the normal MMO aspect, where you just actually like tap target on your enemies, click on your spells, and it will automatically attack the target. So going down and looking at your spell first, the first section you have is spells that are depending on your weapon. So depending on what weapon you're using, which is, you can see here, in this case, build here, weapon. So if I use an X-Axe in main hand, I'm basically getting these 3 spells, dagger, these 3 spells, dagger offhand, these 3 spells, or great sword. I'll just hold on to a second. The noises in the background is annoying me. And so you can see, depending on what weapon you have, you will have different spells. It's also going to change your whole playstyle, because the weapons are totally different and give you like totally different abilities. Like, for example, as a necromancer with a 2-handed sword, it's basically called the Reaper, down here, Reaper, and it's giving me like a lot of utilities like attacking, damaging over time on the ground and stuff like that. Where, for example, if I take the staff on, I'll basically get ranged spells. Like my normal spells are like 1200 range, which is like really long, and it gives me like a lot of things that I can throw on the ground, which is pretty cool. So each of the weapons you're going to use in Guild Wars 2 is going to change your playstyle totally. Like, totally. But beside of that, each of the classes, or professions as they call them in this game, is also having spells here on top of the spells called F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. Depending on which class or profession you play, you're gonna have different spells up here. For example, if you play as a guardian, you can have like up to like 3, 4, 5 up here. Rangers, they can also have like a 4 up here, and so on. But in my case, my necromancer, I only have 1, which is basically turning me into like a big monster Reaper's round, which is like an additional life. So this is basically my life now, and I can exit it again. Well, other classes have, other spells, but it's basically for saying everything that is over here is really like profession based and weapon based, spec based. It's going to change. This one up here, if one can actually change depending on your spec, your build you're actually doing. Just saying. In the right side, you have your healing spells, your utility spells, and your elite skill. First, you have the first one here. This is basically your healing spell. Depending on which spell you want to use, you can click on like this drop down here, or drop up. You get all your healing spells. You unlock more healing spells by progressing in all these traits. So for example, like in Reaper here, I got a new healing spell here, and Scourge is probably also maybe giving me a new one. Let me see. No new. But it's basic. Yeah, it's probably giving me a new, but I don't know. But still, here you can see all the healing skills that you have unlocked so far, and basically I could change between them, and it will have different effects. Like this one here is summoning a demon, which is healing on each attack. I can also use this one here, is basically healing on attack, so it's like attacking the enemy and healing. Or I can use this one, which is like a bit more a supporter. So like it's a bit like a healing thing. It's actually like throw a healing on the ground, which is going to heal my teammates or myself when standing in it. So you can see there's like tons of different healing ways on how you can actually like play. But yeah, this one is your healing spells, and that's the one going to hold you up, so you can actually do solo concept. The next 3 is called utility skills. And that's all the different spells you can unlock in here, which is basically you can use here. So you can see here, I can use all these different here. You cannot use the same in all 3 slots. You have to use like different. So in my case, I can, for example, use this one, Blood is Power, Well of Darkness, and Sign of Spite. So it all does like different things, but it's really going to change your rotation, how you play, because these spells are like your merit. It's like, that's your build. But if you, for example, go to Meta Battle, which is like the website where you can find all the meta builds, which is a pretty good website, it will help you with which spells you should use for different situations. So you can either try and mix it yourself, or go to Meta Battle and really find, you know, a main, like a meta spec, and take inspiration from it. The next one is Elite Skill. This is basically your, probably can say your strongest spells, but also have a pretty long cooldown. For example, the one I'm using right now called Plague Lance has an 80-second cooldown, but it also does, you can see it's doing all these different debuffs, like a lot, like bleeding, damage, fire, all these things. Really good. Or I can summon a really strong flesh golem, or I can turn into a lich, or use a chill to the bone and freeze all enemies, and basically like damage them, and so on. So you have like different options, but elite skills, utility skills, and healing skills. And yeah, you can mix and match it. And of course, through when you level up in all your different skill tree, you're gonna unlock all of them. And don't worry, if you're like, oh, I picked this one, but I want to have this one now, you're gonna unlock them all. So don't worry, you're gonna unlock them all. It's not a problem. But yeah, that's basically, you can say, your skills. But again, going into like how you do combat, you go to the target. Normally you have your auto attack on one spell, so you can see that's like an arrow around it, which basically means it's gonna keep using it automatically for you, which means I can go here, right click, and it's gonna look like it's your auto attack because it's actually just using this one. It is actually not auto attack, it's just because you have set auto spell on this one. You could theoretically change it, your auto spell, like for example, it says hold on control and mouse click 2 on this one. And now my character is automatically going to use the spell every 25 seconds. Just saying, that's like another option. So now if I go over here and press 1, it's not going to use the next one as I did before. I have to like go back and say this is my auto attack spell. And now just keep using it. And again, I could do this to any of my spells, but again, they have like long cooldowns that wouldn't really make sense. I would highly recommend like keep it on 1, and then on your other spells, they should probably like be the spells you use like on command. Another cool thing is that you can actually swap weapon. Not all classes can swap weapon in combat, but most of the classes can. So you can see here, swap weapon. And now I have my other weapon, my secondary weapon, as you can see in here. We have your secondary weapon. Now I have my secondary weapon, which is my staff, so I can like do some staff attacks, do different spells in here, boom, 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 and then switch back to my sword and be like, ha ha ha, use my cooldowns, go back to the staff. Well, okay, it actually has like a 10-second cooldown or 8-second cooldown. But still, you can like use all your heavy attacks in here, go over here, use your spells over here, and after 10 seconds, go back again. And you know what I mean, like go forth and back all the time. So it's not like other games where you can like switch. It's more like you actually have to wait a bit time. Now out of combat, you can change as much as you want, but as you can see in combat, it seems like it's actually 10 seconds, which is just how it is. And in the bottom, you can see, of course, your health. In this game, you don't have mana or stuff like that, so you don't have to think about how much you're casting spells because you don't have mana. So don't think about that. But you have this bar up here, which can have different sources. Like in this case, I have life force on this one. So when I attack, I get life force, which basically means I can transform into this one. And it will keep using my life force, so that's what I need it for. You also have this bar up here, which is basically your dodge. So every time you dodge in this game, it's going to use your stamina here. I have changed it, so I'm using my keybind V. So normally, I think default settings, you can just like press 2 times on W and it will dodge that way. But I have disabled that, so now I'm only dodging when I press V on my keyboard, which I personally like. You also have all your buffs here, so you can see like buffs here, which is going to help you. Well, basically, when you are getting buffs. And also, whenever you get like on 0 health, you're not gonna die. You're gonna just be downed. Like if you see other games where you get like downed, lying on the ground, and you're like, oh, help me, that's gonna be you. And if you see one of your friends gonna like get downed, you can go over to him and press F and actually help him get up. And you can do that in combat and out of combat. But if he's dead, like if you don't help him in that time where he's actually like, oh, help me, he's gonna be dead. And you can basically nothing do anything. For example, I have a spell here, which is, oh, that's not the spell. This one here. Sacrifice health to revive one of your downed ally in target area. So basically, if I had a friend who was downed, it would get them up ASAP. But let's see how it looks like. So I'm gonna just nuke this guy. Which one was I using? This one. Yeah, you're gonna use this build. So get up with all the debuffs, do some heavy damage. Boom, boom, boom. And there you go. See, now it's downed. So basically he's like on the ground and he's like, oh, help me. And he can still use a few spells and like, oh, help me, help me. So if I was his friend, I could go to him and then like help him up. But if I'm his enemy, I can press F and actually execute him with a flag. So if you play PvP and you see one of your enemies downed, the quickest way to like kill them for real is go to them, click on F, and then you will be placing a flag down in basically in them, and they will die. But the same for you. If you get downed, you would also have to like lay on the ground where you get like 4 different spells. You can actually see if you go into spells. Here, go down, and you can see your down skills. Like see here, you can either I can use this one where I leech my enemy, basically healing myself and deal damage. That's the necromancer spells. I have this one where I'll make them flee, like so they fear, like run around. This one creates a fidget on the ground, which makes damage and poison. And this one where I'm trying to heal myself. But again, if someone comes and like, in this case, yeah, see, look at this. So now I can like make him flee, like run around. So he tried to execute me, but I was like, no, 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 you have to run. But here he executed me, like basically placed a flag in my body. Yeah, you can stop attacking me now. There you go. So yeah, that's it. Like you can down your enemies. If it's just normal mobs like AI, you don't down them. This was because that mob up there is supposed to be like a real player. He's like playing that he's a player. Like it's a testing place where you can actually test like. But if it's a normal monster, you're just gonna down them and they die ASAP. But yeah, your skills, your health, your dodge. When you kill people, you have to like execute them in the down phase. You can also just attack them. And the same, if you gonna get down in a dungeon, you have your few down spells you can use, like you can see here. And you can of course use bandage, which basically will heal you and get you back on the toes again. But you might like still lie around in the fire and it's not enough and you need your friend's help. So, and again, and if your friend is down, you can go and help them up. So I guess that's like all the beginner things you need to know about the combat, which I think is fine. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your time in here. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if I missed anything, let me know what you think I missed. And else, if you haven't played Guild Wars 2, I have a link in the description where you can go down and register a free account and play up to max level and play the whole standard game. So like all the standard places in the game you can play. Okay, I can't see it here because I'm in a different map. But yeah, basically you could play all the standard maps and play up to max level. And if you enjoy the game, you can buy all the expansions. And also you can use my link for buying the expansions. And it's basically gonna, you can say, help me. These links because they are sponsored links because I'm an ArenaNet partner. So I'm basically a partner for the game, content creator partner, whatever you could call it. So, but yeah, feel free to use them or not. It's just an offer. But else, thanks for watching. Have a great evening and see you in another video. Bye.